give it a second. MRC. Who's MRC again? What studio is that? I don't know. It's not important. All right, I think we're good. All right. Welcome to today's episode 4 of the Film Planet podcast. We finally got a name. We settled on it. Took forever, but I think we like it. I'm your host, Nadal, and I got Jamal, our other host. And today we're going to be breaking down a couple trailers. Not really breaking down, just kind of discussing a couple trailers. Mortal Engines, the new Oceans trailer, and the Sicario trailer. And then we'll kind of get into some Nolan comments about film releases and their, the rush to get them out. And then, of course, we'll talk about the writer that just got pinned for the Tarantino Star Trek film, which I'm personally very excited about. So let's get right into Mortal Engines, Jamal. It's a teaser trailer, essentially, so it's not really showing much. I haven't read the book. Have you?
I haven't read it, but I have it on order.
You have it on order? Okay.
We'll be looking for the premise.
To my knowledge, just off my own research on it, the book is like a steampunk, like a mix between sci-fi and steampunk, and a kind of a post-apocalyptic future. Is that right?
Yes, and each city they're called predator cities.
Okay.
So it's cities that snatch other cities for their resources.
Okay.
And it's a classism aspect too, because they have the lower tier people on the bottom, the poor people on the bottom of the city. As you move up, it's like a hierarchy or a caste system. So it'd be interesting to see that. And different countries, continents have different cities. So it'd be cool how that pans out.
That's why they say London in this one. Yes. Okay. So London would essentially be the UK.
Well, yeah, London's a city, so
yeah,
UK.
All right. Now, to my knowledge, there's also flying cities as well.
But they have cities in air, land, and water.
Air, land, and water. Okay. And each one of them kind of don't bother with the other ones because this is just my own research.
Well, yeah, they kind of bother.
Well, to my knowledge, from what I was reading, is the people who have the air cities think they're better than the people who have the lands and.
Yeah, it's a classism.
Like they think their way is better than the other, and so on and so forth. But
yeah, it's a class. That's classism. Yeah. Classism aspect.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess this one right here is another little message: is the bigger cities always engulf the smaller cities, right. Which is what you see in this trailer.
I took it as kind of Hunger Games meets Mad Max.
I can see that. To my knowledge, she's not even the main character, unless of course, Holly. They could have rewrote the script.
She's one of them.
She's one of them, but I guess there's another character that we haven't seen yet, but we will, I'm sure. Overall, it's Peter Jackson's not directing it, but the guy who is directing it has basically worked for Peter Jackson since he was like 17. So he's been with Peter Jackson since before Lord of the Rings. And I was reading an article, and they described that man as kind of like Peter Jackson's little protege. Yeah, he was a protege to Peter Jackson. So I'm interested to see. He's directed like some shorts and stuff like that, but this is clearly his biggest film to date.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty lucky. The producer team that he has behind him and the writers, Fran Walsh, Peter Jackson, the people who wrote Lord of the Rings, are helping him out. So I think he has a huge benefit because of that. Just because those people they're pretty good writers, They seem to know what they're doing.
And from what we see so far, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like the concept behind it. I've never been a huge fan of steampunk, but I've never hated it. So I'm excited for this. Plus, it's Peter Jackson.
Man, what's pretty interesting. Not America centric.
It's not
because
at
America kind of gets wiped off the map because it's like a post-apocalypse after their Holocaust. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm excited about it. I'm sure once you read the book, you'll give me a little bit more information about it, what to expect. And then the second trailer that we have on here is, so let's go straight into Oceans. Is the Oceans trailer, which I like a good, heist movie. Something I appreciate. They're always fun. But you said it was supposed to be a reboot, but per the trailer, once I was listening to it, it seems like she might be related to Danny Ocean, and it might be like her cousin or brother, whatever it might be, some relation to him. Because just there's certain things in the trailer that kind of speak to that being a thing. I will say this: I don't think I like what they're stealing. They're going to like some fashion shows to steal a necklace that's around some model's neck.
Right.
And it's only worth like $1 million. And I know it sounds bad, but like every movie has like 100 million, 200 billion, you know.
Like Austin Powers.
Yeah. What's actually worth stealing anymore? I don't know, but I like they got. It seems really well casted. There's some unknown.
That's the part. That's the part I think is dope.
Yeah, the casting is really, really.
I mean, they have star power for sure.
Absolutely, well done.
They have arguably one of the top 3 actresses on the planet, Kate Blanchett. Yep. So can't go wrong with that.
Cannot go wrong with that. I mean, then
have Rihanna star power.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. Sarah Paulson too, by the way. She's a really good actor.
She has a cult following.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm excited. I mean, it looks interesting. It looks like it's going to be fun.
It'll make a lot of money because of women and diverse cast. So
yeah,
it should be one of the bigger hits of the summer.
Oh yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm just excited about it. It looks like a lot of fun. You know me. I like my heist movies. You know, with that weird, complex way of stealing things or getting into places, etc.
I'll be honest. I never was big on the ocean movies. They weren't bad. They just weren't my cup of tea.
They progressively got worse. I will say that.
This one gets my attention.
Oh yeah, I want to go see it. It looks like it might be faster paced than the other ocean films as well. Like it might be moving along a lot faster than the other ones were. I'm excited for it. Comes out, summer's right around the corner, as you know.
June 8th.
Yeah, so it's we'll watch it. We'll have fun, and like I said, it's a heist movie, so we're probably gonna be into it. And then, second of all, the last trailer that we have on here is the Sicario trailer, which is starring Benicio and I remember his name all of a sudden.
Josh Brolin, aka Thanos, aka Cable. This is a big movie year for him.
Yep. Well, the last couple of years, really.
Yeah, but this one playing probably arguably two of the 3 biggest comic book movies of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with what you said there. I mean, like you said, he's kind of, I don't want to say blown up because he's always been in films.
A notable
person. It's just, I think it started with that last Men in Black film where he kind of, audiences were reminded, oh, this guy exists, For the longest time, I really knew him from the Goonies. that's how I remember.
That's how most people know him. Yeah. The Goonies.
But no, I think you and I both loved the first Sicario. It's really good.
Really good. And I think this is unnecessary. It looks good, but I think this is an unnecessary sequel.
I think this is a sequel they're doing because the first one made money. It's Hollywood. They know
was it even that big of a box office success to warrant a sequel?
The budget it had and what it inflated that success.
And where's Emily Blunt?
She's not in it. Yeah,
she was the main character.
And I found that interesting. Well, I mean, at the end of it, it seems like she was kind of done with law enforcement almost. Like she was like, I'm just not going to deal with this stuff anymore.
I understand, but she kind of made the movie what it is because she was like the every person that's in this crazy world.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't know. I'm just excited for it because I do like the world that they've set up here, which is their world is essentially our world. But it's I'm excited for it. I want to go see it.
I'm sure it'll be good, but I'm not anticipating it like you. To me, we could do without it. Like I'm sure once I see it, I'll be like, oh, it was a good movie, but I mean, yeah.
Now I'm excited for it, but it's nothing. It doesn't really look that much different than the first one. which I don't mind. They're still doing,
Cinematography looks more grand in scale, but
yeah, but it does feel like it is on a bigger scale. But I mean, they're still taking down the cartels. That's from, at least from the trailer. We don't know much else outside of that. But it's Benicio del Toro.
seems like they're making a proxy war.
Yeah, I mean, they straight is like, well, if you want me to take care of this, I can't be tied down by rules and regulations.
And then what's up with every trailer making that noise now when it's a serious scene that
Well, in this trailer they borrow from Dunkirk. It has the tick tick going out the whole time. So
well, if you're gonna borrow from something, Dunkirk.
I mean, I'm not knocking them for it. So not a bad thing. I'm excited for it. It looks good, looks interesting, just like the first one did. Obviously yet to be seen if it's going to be as good as the first one. But we'll see. But for the time being, I'll just let the Mortal Engines trailer run through here. And we'll move on to the Christopher Nolan comments that I think both you and I weren't really... I think we both agreed with it, but we weren't really surprised because he's always been not really outspoken, but lately he's been kind of out there with his interviews with some different types of comments.
Yeah, he's usually more... keep to himself.
He keeps to himself, reserved. He doesn't really say much, which once you look at the context of what he said, he was saying these in interviews, and these are just what people picked out of the interview, you know? Which makes sense. It's gonna happen. I think he knows that, so you don't think he really cares.
Right.
But to be more exact, his comments were he was talking about release dates, the studios putting pressure on the directors and producers to produce these films in a year time span, and basically just more of an assembly line type production schedule for films to come out, because it's all about turning the most amount of profit in the shortest amount of time. And he said the reason why you're not seeing as many films that are as good right now is because the directors don't have enough time to implement their vision or their version of said story, etc., so on and so forth. And I agree 100% with him. I think he's 100% right. I honestly, I mean, I don't mind. I think you and I both, we don't mind waiting 2 or 3 years for the sequel.
Yeah, I'll say that, but let me say this. In that, I'm kind of 60-40 on this.
Okay.
And the reason why is it depends on the scale of the movie. A movie like Star Wars, it could probably use a 2-3 year gap, which they doing it every 2 years. I'm talking about the sagas.
Yeah.
And then they'll do a spinoff in between. But I think a movie like even this Mortal Engines, I think this would need another 2-3 years to put in production. So I agree, bigger films, maybe more grand scale films, yes. But I mean, if it's a smaller film,
and I am talking specifically to those bigger films.
But he wasn't. He was just saying films in general.
That's true. Well, I mean, are we just assuming that's what he meant, every film, or was he just kind of...
Well, based on the article, he said films.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, I get what you're saying.
So you got to group in everything.
Yeah. I mean, the average... people don't realize this. A lot of films are really only shot in a 4 to 6 month span.
Because, I mean, Spielberg knocked out The Post in, 4 or 5 months? And it's getting rave reviews. So.
Even Ready Player One, he knocked out fairly quick.
Well, we don't know how that movie comes out yet.
That's true.
Post is already getting rave reviews.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's... I like the idea that these studios should give the filmmakers more time, especially if it is a bigger film. It helps just produce a better quality product.
Right.
And I think you and I both know if anything's rushed, I don't care what it is, it's the quality of said product is not going to be that great. And you get that a lot with... I mean, I'll probably use the most egregious example of someone not having enough time to do something is the Justice League film. And not even
once they start doing once Snyder came off the project. Should have pushed it back.
They should have pushed it back, and they didn't because they wanted to hit that release date. And let's ignore the story aspect. Let's look at it from a more technical standpoint. The CG was not good. There wasn't even parts of that CG that was passable. It was just like it was just like why did you that Superman's his upper lip, all of it. It was just it's so bad.
And I mean, some of the editing with Wonder Woman would jump. I was like, what? It's like they just went to another scene. It didn't even look like she jumped. So yeah.
And then the Steppenwolf, like your bad guy, looked bland, boring.
He looked like a video game cutscene.
He looked like video game cutscenes look better than that.
Yeah,
like
that's what he looked like.
It looked bad. It really it looked bad, and I'll use that as that's probably just the most freshest in my mind, and it'll probably be the fresh in my mind for a long time. Is that you should never leave a film like Justice League thinking, "Wow, the CG was bad."
And it would I said this before about time. When you have time, you can look back. It's connected to a larger universe.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of inconsistencies in the movie. For example, they said Flash in that movie, Flash said, "I never pushed anybody. Oh no, all I did was push somebody. I've never been in actual battle." But in Suicide Squad, he took down Captain Boomerang and put him in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
So he took down one of the most notorious criminals on the planet. But now in Justice League, all you ever did was push somebody.
Which is, by the way, is a continuation from Suicide Squad. It's not taking place before Suicide Squad. This movie is essentially after the events of Suicide Squad.
Right.
So that's just for people if they want to argue, well, this is the time. Like, no. Justice League was further down the line after Suicide Squad. So they feel lost. Like when a film is not given enough time, it feels lost. And as some casual audience members might be able to say, "Hey, I don't really care." But I'll use my trainer as an example. He was like, "I liked it," but he's like, "I just didn't really understand what was happening."
See?
And he's like, with the Avengers, and this is my trainer. He's he likes movies, but he's doesn't really break. He goes to purely just enjoy it.
Enjoy.
He does not break.
Like most people, they don't break down X's and O's.
His ratings is I like it, I didn't like it. That's where it goes. And he said the Avengers. He said I like those films. He's like it feels like the story is going somewhere. And that's a casual audience member, which I think you and I know we're the small spectrum when it comes to watching movies. The casual audience is what's making your money. Those are your people that are going to be giving you the money and helping you produce another film by making money.
Right.
And Justice League alienated them. Because you have a lot of Justice League fans saying, well, it doesn't matter. It was in the comics. I'm like, I don't think you understand what you just said. Doesn't matter because it was in the comics. They need to make a film that's coherent. And if you don't give that enough time to be coherent, it's going to come out.
Right.
It's just going to come out weird. It's not going to look right. But that's just from the story. But from the technical aspect, that CG I'm sorry. That much money, $1 billion company, there's really no excuse for that.
No.
There really isn't. That's pure laziness and wanting to release a movie within a time frame. Because I don't even know what the time frame was. What this year were they trying to avoid? Other than Star Wars, what were they trying to avoid this year? They're even at the beginning of next year.
Maybe they want to put out a holiday. Could have put it out around New Year's. Killer hit.
That's what I'm saying. Like it made no sense. It was just like we got to get this out now, and they didn't really have to. One thing I can think of is just got down to the point where that budget just started ballooning, and they were just like, we don't care, just get it out.
Yeah. So.
But I don't know. I'm interested to see where Justice League goes because I think they might have realized that. I don't know. But we'll see. But no, I think films need a lot more time. And the directors, the editors across the board, they need more time to put these together just to produce better quality films. I'm not saying every film's going to be a 10 out of 10 now, but if they're given enough time.
I agree, because the Star Wars films originally came out every 3 years.
That's what I'm saying.
77, 80, 83. And
Mm-hmm.
the new trilogy was 99, 2002, 2005.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings came out in, I
Yep.
believe.
Mm-hmm. Even the Hobbit films. No, the Hobbit films came out every year at that point when they came out.
Or
Yeah.
every 2.
It might be. It might be every 2 years. But either way, they were given enough time.
Right.
But like I said, it's not by no means am I saying give these people more time. Perfect film. That means nothing. If a script is broke, a script is broke. Period. It isn't. No, you can't just fix a broken script. I mean, the director can be Spielberg. If the script is just completely broke, there's not a lot he can really do.
I can't work with.
Yeah,
But Spielberg wouldn't work with a script like that.
He did BFG.
I mean, BFG wasn't really a bad movie.
It was just boring.
It was executed. It was just it was a kid's movie. Like a lot of animation these days, they make it a family film, but that's a kid's movie. So
yeah.
So it's cool.
But anyways, I'll just that was just me being a joker. But no, I think we'll have there'll be a lot more consistency. You won't have one good film, 5 bad ones.
Mm.
I think it'll be almost reversed. You'll have 5 really good ones and then 3 or 4 terrible films or just not good.
And it'll help the box office.
It'll help the box office. Yeah,
won't have to depend on so many big budget films.
Exactly. It's just we're in a vicious circle right now where studios are shortest time frame, highest profit, which has its own setbacks. I mean, we talked about it last podcast. Originality goes out the door when stuff like that starts happening I think that's why you're seeing a Sicario 2 is because the first one made money. It was an original story, so they're just like, we'll make a second one. You know what I mean? And people really because Sicario ended off, it was a very slow burn, then it just kind of ramped up that last 20 minutes. Basically, the second one looks like the 2 hours of the last 20 minutes of the first one.
It
was the slow burn. But studios don't care about that because all people talked about at the end of it was the last little part. I don't know. I'm interested to see with it. Overall, I think the fact that we have people like Christopher Nolan making comments like that, I promise you, Spielberg's in that same mindset. Well, not the exact same, but he has a similar thought process. Peter Jackson, these big name directors are the ones that can kind of say, "Hey, step back, studios. Let's be a little bit more creative about it." Peter Jackson, like I said, it's someone else is directing this, but if this guy was directing it by himself, there was no Peter Jackson attached, I promise you this film either would have never got made or it would have been on a very short release schedule. But I think because of Peter Jackson, they're like, well, here's your money. Got 3 years. I think this has been development for since 2016?
It's been developing before that.
Well, I mean, they've been trying to get it, get the budget for it and everything, but I think it officially went to filming in 2016. So we'll see. And just so people know, that CG in this isn't that great, but CG is the last thing in the editing floor that gets tightened up right before it gets pushed out for release. But no, I'm interested in seeing where the industry as a whole goes. And seeing if anything changes, or are they going to let it get so bad then they change it, which is typically the way things go. They let it get real worse before they fix it. And then the last things we're going to talk about is the Star Trek Tarantino film that's being produced by Bad Robot, which is I think owned by Paramount, or something like that. But it's partnered with Paramount with J.J. Abrams, and they found their script, their writer that's going to write it, and it's the guy who wrote. I think his name is right here, Mark Smith, the guy who wrote The Revenant, which is what people are going to really know. He's written other things, obviously, but that's what people are going to know him for.
Academy Award winning.
Yep, The Revenant. I think I texted you. I admit it. That was interesting to me is they chose a guy to write a film, and his last biggest film was something that didn't have that much dialogue. It had next to none on dialogue, But Tarantino, I think, his scripts have ballooned up to over 100 and something pages. The man,
he's big on dialogue.
He's big on dialogue.
That's what pushes a lot of his movies.
Yeah, So I'm interested to see how that dynamic is going to work. Obviously, like I said, the man's written other things. He's just known for The Revenant, so he,
Which is a well written movie. It's not
yeah,
just about dialogue,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that
exactly.
wasn't the what made The Revenant was the directing.
This is directing, yeah, the cinematography, everything around it. Yes,
The same director did Birdman.
yeah, which I think what Birdman was all single shot, right? Continuous shot.
Academy Award as well.
That's crazy, but it's. I'm interested to see it. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I know Star Wars is your bread and butter, but you also enjoy Star Trek a lot. So it's I want to see where that goes. I do apologize. I thought before that Tarantino was directing. Officially, there is no director attached to this film. The rumor is that he is wanting to direct it, but the studio hasn't given him the go ahead to do that. I think inevitably, I think he's going to direct it. Because JJ and him as producers, that just seems almost conflicting. Those two,
Right.
yeah.
So let me ask you, why are you excited for it?
Well, this is actually the rumor is that this is going to be a movie about Next Generation, which is my personal favorite Star Trek series.
Are they gonna use the same cast? No one knows yet.
No one knows yet. I think Patrick Stewart said that he would love to come back as Captain Picard. Which, if the episode that they're going with is true, Captain Picard wasn't really in that episode. And the episode of reference is whenever there's like a time rift and a bunch of different enterprises, two different universes collide where the Klingon War continued and people died and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see where it goes, but we'll move forward from there and we'll see what happens. Uh, it's plus it's Star Trek Tarantino. It's such a weird mix. I would love to see what happens with it. So it's something I'm excited for.
I can say I'm intrigued by it. I'm not really excited for a lot of I think Tarantino has always been it's like a play box. And he's always had this is my play box.
Yeah.
And him crossing over into Star Trek, like I said, is intriguing, but it's hard for me to get excited because what makes a Tarantino movie doesn't really make Star Trek Star Trek.
Yeah.
Now the dialogue, he's great at dialogue, so I'm sure the dialogue would be cool. But I mean, Star Trek isn't known for over the top action.
No.
So I'm sure he can scale that back, but I just don't see a lot of these things are big elements that make a Tarantino movie great. And incorporating the Star Trek with the themes, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm interested to see it. It's plus this isn't a continuation of the last Star Trek films, the reboots.
Right.
This is quite literally just a one-off film that Tarantino pitched, and JJ came to Paramount like, let's do this, which I think is smart because it's just gonna it just breathes life into it, and if it's successful, just like with Scario, you're gonna see a continuation. Like I think this is gonna be them testing is Next Generation a good thing to start making films about.
But I think what works with Next Generation so well is the cast.
Oh yeah, just
I know with the old Star Treks, but that has a nostalgic value, and they kind of played. The new movies kind of played into that nostalgic value. But with the Next Generation, I mean,
those characters were more fleshed out than the original, than first Star Treks.
Yeah, outside of Spock, and Kirk.
Well, Spock was in Next Generation multiple times.
Yeah, but he wasn't a main player.
Yeah, but I mean, you had LaForge, Picard. Everyone was. It's just it was an overall better cast when compared side by side. Each one had its pros and cons, obviously, but that's really the beauty of Star Trek is it's highlighting pros and cons. That's the purpose of it, you know. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good. It's Tarantino, it's Abrams, and I mean, as of right now, they have an Academy Award win. Well, did he win an Academy Award for Revenant? The writing on that? The writer, Mark.
I know, not for the writing. Direction one.
The direction, okay. Well, either way, he was part of a film that won an Academy Award,
right.
which he was a very important part of that film. He was the writer, so, wasn't the guy setting up the sets. That's
right.
So the pieces seem to be there. The universe is one of those pieces that's fitting, and I think it's just important to point out that this is a standalone film as of right now. So I think that's important to point out, just because because everyone wants something to be connected to something, and I think I saw that on Twitter. People were talking about the reason why Logan wasn't good is because it wasn't connected to a larger X-Men universe.
What?
But it is like, for what purpose? This wasn't a story about
X. Books do standalone stories all the time, and these same people always saying the comics do one-offs and standalones all the time.
Everyone wants it to be connected.
Old Man Logan is not connected to the X-Men universe in the comics.
I'm telling you, there's a lot. I'll go back to Scario. There's a reason why we're getting a Scario too. People are now invested in that universe, and there's no need to rewrite to do another universe. Just keep doing that. I don't know if it's for better or worse. I think when it first started, that was awesome. It was new, but it's kind of like 3D. It's like, okay, can I just get my standalone films again, please? Plus, standalone films, I think, do get a longer production time just because it's not about getting this done so we can get started on the second one, I mean, you can almost look at it like that. Like, okay, we got to finish this because we got 3 films coming out next year that are in the same universe, and they have to tie this together, and they cannot be pushed back.
Right.
So it's obviously there's a lot more moving parts than that, but that's just one of the many. I'm excited for it overall. Like I said, I like Tarantino. Don't love him to death, but the dude doesn't make crap. He produces
made a bad movie.
He makes high quality content. That's well thought out, maybe over thought out, really, if you almost look at it, but it's good. Yeah, it's really good. Anyways, today was a shorter podcast than normal. We didn't have much to talk about. I mean, the more important things were the last 2 that we wanted to hit on. And, us, we're always going to have trailers because we like to at least look at the first trailers and nothing else.
And we'll have reviews coming up.
Yeah, reviews.
More movie reviews.
Yeah. It's a slower time of the year now, but Hollywood, January, February, I mean, all the way to August, it's like 2 or 3 movies a month almost.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be busy. Probably a lot less trailers and more just talking about reviewing the movies and what we like, didn't like, etc. But come back to us next week. We're gonna be breaking down our top 10 most anticipated films for 2018. So his top 10 and my top 10.
Tough list this year.
It's a tough list.
It is.
I'm still not done with mine. It's hard to break it down, like what I want to be my number 4, number 5, etc.
Man, and my list is gonna shock a lot of people that know me personally.
Oh, they know you personally.
Yeah, nobody knows.
But no, I'm interested for it. Those doing those top 10 lists are always just fun in general, because they do spark debate. Because I was like, really, that's your number 5? That's my number 2. It's always interesting to see why something is higher up on someone's list and lower on another. But anyways, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Film Planet Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, comment, share the video. Give us that feedback. We want it. It always helps out. But anyways, feedback is key. It's key. It helps with everything. But other than that, I mean, that's today's podcast. You guys have a good one.
Peace.